Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. My name is Aaron Schey, and welcome to Habitat Now. We are going to be traveling the world next year on the Glass Tour. And Sue and Al and Ferdinand and Kathy, who go on these tours with everybody, many of you have been on them in the past, are joining me today. I think we've traveled to every continent since the late 90s, I think, is when we started doing that.
Actually,
Yeah.
Antarctica.
Yeah, it's true. We'll skip Antarctica, right?
No, we haven't gone there. We didn't go there.
2024. I'll see you.
We actually have gone to 15 countries and 5 regions in the United States over about 22 years plus. Just forget the 3 years right now.
Right, of the pandemic. So that's real exciting stuff. And I'm honored to have been part of helping organize these since forever ago. And as they continue, it's been an amazing project that Ferdinand, Kathy, and Sue and Al have been doing together. And since we discovered where we have traveled, and before we go into the slideshow a little bit, I always wanted to ask you guys, like, how are these trips reviewed by the people who have been on them? And anybody can join in this little conversation too about just like overall experience and people mentioning afterwards, thank you cards, stuff like that. Go ahead, Sue, you can start.
I'll definitely start. We do receive thank you cards and emails. Usually they're glowing. Very rarely is there anything in a negative. And we can tell that because people then sign on next time. And it's friendships that people are making. And that adds more to, it's not just an art tour. It's people getting together that really enjoy learning and also are interested in, glass and the community of artists, and to see how things are made and why they are made from those artists. And it works. It's an educational thing, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, I consider it an experience. For those who don't know, that's Sue and Al Weiner. They head up this part of the trip and do all logistics and planning. So you guys can just enjoy yourself. And I'll get into more details about that. I'm also joined today by Ferdinand and Kathy Hampson, who have been traveling on these trips. And I know because I just found a box full of photos that I went through for this presentation and saw them visiting all kinds of artists from around the world from back in the day till today. Why don't you guys tell us a little about the feedback you get from these trips?
For me, my most memorable experience was that the first year we did this, which was many years ago. Ferd and I were approached by the Weiners and asked us if we wanted to collaborate, and we were a little trepidatious about this whole thing. We were hesitant because we were either going to make a lot of friends or a lot of enemies, but the Weiners assured us they would take care of the travel issues, the luggage, the trains, planes, automobiles, the special events, and we would take care of making sure the artists would create wonderful work for our company of people. So the very first year we went to Prague, we had quite a few people that joined us for the very first time. And at the very end of the trip, they all looked at us and said, "Where are we going next year?" So that was the greatest compliment we could have received.
That's great.
It was a great surprise.
We went to Italy and France, and we had 52 people with us,
Wow.
which is the most we've ever had, and certainly more than we ever want again.
But, not that many.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then we took a separate trip to the Czech Republic because so many people had heard about it and wanted to go back. So we had a different group completely going to the Czech Republic.
That's great. Anybody else who's been on a trip is welcome to mute themselves and share their thoughts about the trips. I've been envious from a distance and been watching, and some of the fun things I see are the pieces that people experience and see on these trips, sitting with the artist, communicating. There's an artist here, artist there, in the galleries and home tours, and so you have like the first peek of what's being created over there in their actual studios, and it's kind of a very incredible experience because you very well might be the first person seeing this piece outside of a studio ever.
Well, even beyond that, how often are you able to see the career of an artist? So this is a retrospect quite often, more often than not. So you'll be able to see how the artist started. And some of these early pieces are really pretty spectacular, especially historically speaking. So it's not just the new work that they have, but the whole body of work that you see in the studio.
That's really fantastic. So I'm going to start taking over your screen. Now we got a little bit of the topic in. I'm going to jump into some of the ideas of what's going on in the galleries. People have an idea. We'll kick back into this topic some more, but I'm super interested in learning more about it. And let's just run through these quickly so I can get an idea. Our Glass Coast weekend's planned for late February, so make sure you have that scheduled on your calendar. Next, our international is planned for June on top of the GAS conference. We'll be doing a lot of fun events, and if you're part of AACG, you might be coming for the meeting. The newest thing is October 8th, this upcoming weekend or week, we have John Moran coming in to do a meet and greet. He's also demoing in Detroit the day before, so if you're around, he was successful on Blown Away. Check it out. It's pretty exciting. And then 2 exhibitions, Deanna Clayton and Stephanie Trenchard, are opening up later this month, along with the Glass Art Fair opening later this month. Busy October. A lot of new works you're going to be impressed by, I promise. And then in November, we got Michael Behrens and us, and a 30-year retrospective of Tomas Helvichka, who's been showing with us forever. And he is incredible. And we show work by his daughter and his father-in-law, Pavel Halava. But we're honored to show them. So that brings us to the tour here, and I'm gonna give you some blast to the past. And Ferd and Kathy, you probably haven't seen these photos in years, and some of you other people have, but let's just check them out. Oh, this is the Glass tour for next. We'll come back to this when we talk about the upcoming tour. So we've had reviews by some people who have given us some feedback about the tour and how incredible they are, and that's what we're starting to ask people too. If you've been on one of these tours, we really haven't asked for feedback before, but I think feedback would be a great way to express the excitement and the adventure and really the experience, which is what this trip is all about, and the trips in the past. And maybe you've been on 1, maybe you've been on 2, maybe you've been on 7 of them, but the idea is we'd love to hear from you. And you can write to me, Ferd, or Sue, if your thoughts and your memories, and share your photos beyond this, because we just want to get the word out, because we're continuing these throughout the year. Larry Seebeck, who's the president of the ACG, gave us a great review. We posted these, I think, on social media. And if you, I'll leave it up there in case you wanted to read it in the replay when I put it on YouTube. And then another one from Dennis Dubois, whose wife Barbara and Dennis have been on, I think, a few trips, and they were quite magical, and they enjoyed everything about them from step 1 to step 2. So, Sue, I wanted to ask you, if I wanted to go on this trip as a client, what am I responsible for, just so I know, besides calling you? So I get an
Calling
idea.
us and letting us work with you.
Yeah.
Give us your credit card number.
Credit card number. That'll do.
Mhm.
No, well, really, yeah, I think that when people are joining, we have a very full itinerary and we cover a lot, but there is free time where they can go, and in this case, we're going to be on a cruise ship. They can book things through the cruise ship line on days that we're not doing our program, and they can enjoy. But what they really do is they come on board, and usually they're in a good mood and ready to meet people and ready to go. And we go. We make it a very full day and enjoy each other's company.
That's great. And for like the technical stuff of it, I'm required to fly somewhere and land to meet everybody to go on the cruise ship. Is that for this particular upcoming year?
Yeah, we can help with that so that people get in on right time, the time for the program, so they don't miss anything, and obviously go on if they want to go to somewhere else after or go home or whatever. We definitely.
So you handle that too. So everything's basically handled for you guys.
Yeah, and travel insurance, and yeah, we do. If they want it, we can work with them on it.
Gotcha. So basically, once you get a hold of Sue and Al, they'll guide you through the plan, and it should be very, very easy. And it's great to hear, because they have, 25 years of experience doing this us, and probably another 25 doing this with other people. So,
Please, no ages, please.
Yeah, right. Sorry. 10 years tops. Tell us about this picture. Where was this at? Can you tell me how long ago this was? You remember?
Yes, this was a long, long time ago. I can't remember exactly when, but that's Stanislav Levinsky, who passed away in 2002. So it was one of the earlier trips, and that's Kathy and I. And we are with the Victory column from 1989 that was in the studio at the time.
That's great. So that's like a couple legend pictures right there of you and the professor hanging out, having fun, and looking at some beautiful pieces. And,
On the bus.
Right.
Yeah, it's just on the bus. I see that.
That's funny. And then we have some other people traveling. I don't know if this is the same trip or a different trip, but I do recognize some faces here.
Italy. This
Italy.
is Venice.
Yeah.
Venice. So this is an amazing trip, it looked like, from back in the day, one of the early ones. It looks like it might have been from the year 2000. It's got 2 zeros in there when our cameras put the dates on the actual photos. So that's kind of wild. And then intimate experiences, you know, having a great chance to meet the artist. Anybody recognize this artist? Anybody in the room? Because I do not.
I'm trying to.
Negriano.
Aha. That's a
From
friend
France.
share.
From France. Yeah.
From France, yeah.
I recognize the Shomers, but I don't
That was a
recognize-
long time ago.
He mixes glass with metal.
Gotcha.
And this is a piece that I believe this couple acquired.
Yeah, it's Fred and Sharon Schomer. They're great
Right,
people
yeah.
and have a great collection. And then there's John and Connie Wood, who are. John looks exactly the same today. He just had a show.
They actually came in from India for the trip.
Oh,
He
really?
was stationed in India at the time.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, he just had a solo exhibition as a retired design. He worked for, I think, GM or Ford, and he's
Ford.
also dabbled in glass, heavily inspired by Levinsky. This is one of the best shots I found. Everybody hanging out outside from eons ago. Any idea where this was?
That's Venice.
Venice.
Yeah.
That was going to dinner in Venice.
All the beautiful ladies lined up to go to dinner.
Uh-huh.
That's
In a
much
garden.
fun.
Mhm.
Everybody's having a pre-drink celebration. And now besides, you know, the seeing the artwork, there's a socialization, which is really great. And people are like-minded. This is again back in Levinsky. I think I showed this photo first. So we can keep going a little bit. And we traveled to the Orient here. And
Japan.
This was Japan, and this must have been probably late middle of the 2000s, maybe somewhere in there.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Sometime back there.
Yeah, I'm not
22 trips.
I'm not quizzing you guys, but I can see
That was.
This is in Italy,
Yeah.
Italy. There's
surprisingly enough.
I see some faces I recognize in here. This is a
We
great.
stopped by this gallery. We don't just go to studios, go to galleries, museums. And we stopped by this gallery, and this galleryist had a Levinsky for sale, which was very exciting. It was acquired by one of the collectors on the trip.
It's great.
It was very exciting.
Looks like everybody's chomping at the bit to get to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks like the Gugisberg Baldwin somewhere in the
Nice.
world.
England.
Yeah, that was in England.
Another trip. Everybody having out there. You guys are hanging out with them.
Yeah.
It's great to see them working still today. Working the gallery there.
Yes, and we'll see them again.
We travel down under, maybe here. Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sydney.
That's Sydney.
That's so much fun. Yeah, these are some great memories. So,
Trip.
tell me about the Oceana a little bit. Can you tell us about the cruise ship? Have
Sure.
you been on it before? What's the story?
Oh,
Why did you
yeah.
choose that one?
Yeah, we used this, in fact, we used this same ship before. It's a beautiful blend of sophistication and contemporary ambience. That it's wonderful. It's kind of country club casual. It's very high in design. People love it, but they use European culinary aesthetic, let's put it that way. The ship itself carries 1,250, just a small amount of passengers. It's perfect. It's enough to feel that you're on a cruise ship, but small enough to be intimate. And 780 crew to service the needs of the passengers. They're going through a refurbishment in the next month, and so it will be ready and beautiful for our travels in 2023.
And let me interject here because what I remember from the Oceania, and we've traveled elsewhere, not just with the group on that same Oceania, the food is amazing. They're really known all over for their wonderful cuisine.
Yeah, the chef Jacques Pepin is the one who does all the menus. I think there's like 6 or 7 restaurants, all of different qualities as far as Italian and Asian, and there's wine pairing, and there's French, and then even the main dining room was wonderful.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So we've learned a little bit about the past, and so tell us a little about this upcoming trip. It's in June
Yes.
of next year.
No, it's in July.
Sorry, July of
July.
next year. Right. Praise
Yeah.
the Lord. June's kind of busy for us.
Yeah. That's your busy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's we've got it slated for July 7th to 25th. And what that is, the cruise is a 12-day cruise. Before it, we will start in London and see people there. There's an exhibition that's being put together. We're also going to go to the west in the countryside to visit 4 or 5 artists before we go on the ship. And once we hit the ship, you can relax and unpack for 12 days. We'll use that as our hotel and our wonderful place to enjoy. Then in between on some of the stops, and it's quite a few of them, most of them, we have, when we hit a port, we'll have our own private coaches and guides, and we will go and set up, we're working right now to set up the visits with artists and going to their studios or in homes and seeing some of their work and hearing about their art background. And we will do that, and I have a selection here of ports that we can do that in. And then when we're all done and we disembark in Copenhagen, we will then again have our own private coaches, and we will go to see an exhibition of wonderful work from the Danish people that are there around Copenhagen. And then we'll go on the big ferry with the coach and go to Aarhus and stay overnight, because the next day we go to Habatat. And that is a wonderful little village that has a phenomenal glass museum and quite a few artists. We're bringing in artists there also. So when we're all done, obviously we'll go back to Copenhagen and have our wonderful farewell dinner. And then the next day, everybody will go home or wherever they're going.
gotcha. It sounds like a lot of steps, and they're figuring out the plans of exactly who, what, when, and why. But it always works out. You know, everybody in Europe is extremely eager to see the Habatat travelers.
Yeah,
And-
you know, this trip is I feel like a learning experience, and that's how we present it to the artists. But from past sales of people taking advantage of these wonderful pieces in the studios, there's been just tremendous interest in Habatat coming to their studios, because sales have been very, very impressive in former years, and word gets around.
Word gets around for sure. And there's a lot of people that I've seen in these slides so far that we don't even see over here visiting us in the States. You know, that are really people who are pushing the cutting edge in Europe, that you really get a chance to actually have a one-on-one time with on these tours and trips.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this is Peter Botas.
Yes.
We have not Botas. I've met him probably like a while ago at SOFA once, and then I haven't seen him again in person. So it's great. He's one of the most talented out there and working in carved and polished glass. And it's great to see the different people you visit and the different fun places you go, like this club.
All glass.
This is
Oh.
an all glass club.
That's great.
And that's the man that's the former president of Steuben, I'm not Steuben, of Costa Oriflores. And he was showing us around this wonderful facility.
That's so great. What a beautiful place. And then we bump into our friend Bertel
Yeah.
Valien in Sweden, which is, I think, on the tour, or at least something nearby.
Yeah, it was definitely on the tour.
Yeah, and then he's quite the showman. If you ever have seen the opportunity to experience Bertel, you'll never forget it. I've done it a
This
couple
is the Ring
times.
of Fire.
Yeah.
The Ring of Fire, right? And he is an incredible,
Oh, nice
incredible
picture.
man.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Larry and Rita, who've been on trips and have enjoyed themselves. You really enjoy yourself, and you know, it seems like something like I've never really heard anybody else doing these trips first. I know the AACG group does them, but they're, you know, they're not as organized as what we do because we travel outside the states. And so this is really an impressive opportunity for people to travel and share and do what they love. Like
Yeah.
Ferd in this drink right here. Looks like he's really loving it.
I remember that drink. So,
Our trips are also not anywhere as extensive. These are quite wonderful.
Thank you, Howard. Question from the audience: how many people is ideal for the trip, Sue? Would you say?
We usually run between 20 and 30 people, makes it very nice. It's still intimate. Yeah, we try to stay into one coach, and that also gives us a chance to get into the better restaurants and also into these small homes and the small studios.
Gotcha. Which boat is this? Do you remember this boat? Is this the Oceana? Is it something else?
That is
Oceana, that's the marina.
that's the one we're going to be on.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So,
Kathy just finished tying it down.
she was just there. I
Jack
like
of all
this
trades, I am.
is. She was making sure the boat's safe, personally checking it out herself. So thank you, Mom. And is Janie enjoying some pieces?
Yeah.
You've been on past
Yes.
trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here we go, Ferd and Kathy again with Bertel. And this is a great opportunity too to get selfies with these artists. As I've been working here, I've been trying to make a collection of photos of myself with artists, and it helps build my repertoire for the future. And even some people that I'm now no longer here, I have photos with them, which is a great opportunity to share a great memory.
Yes, it is.
There's Ann Wolf, and she's an amazing artist, and we did a talk with her via Zoom last year. And if you have a chance to meet her, please do it.
Yes.
And then, of course, experiences with like artists that are no longer here. This was Yaroslava Brachtova, and I believe she passed away last year, and that you guys had a chance to see her, and you guys have been friends with her for a long time, long time. And yeah, that's great with opportunity to go and say hello, you know, and see each other no matter what. And this is Wasserbauer. I've never met him in person, but you guys have, you know, I've communicated with him, but these trips are such great ways of doing that and having fun experiences and learning about the artists and the artwork and having this incredible time. So I would like to ask people, sure, like on these trips, you acquire things. You obviously buy artwork from these artists, and you have like any great memories of which pieces you've acquired that you could tell us about. And in a narrative, you see Frank Douglas here purchasing this beautiful piece by the Ivan Marish. Is that who it is, Ferd, I believe?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And another artist I've never met in person, but I don't think I haven't communicated with him personally, but you guys did. And it's great that you had this opportunity to even get into his world. He makes a limited amount of pieces. So Ferd or Kathy, anything you want to mention from your trips?
Well, the last slide that you showed, yes, Kathy and I own this piece, and that's why we took the picture with the artists. We occasionally get a piece ourselves because we can't resist.
That's great. Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, there's Siegler.
Mr.
That's a great
Siegler.
Siegler, yeah.
Yep, you guys having a blast.
Yeah, amazing artist.
Yeah.
Look at this. Klaus Moye in Australia, who passed
Oh,
away, but
Great
these are all
pictures.
like legendary people.
Very iconic people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Should
Yep.
have known them. We were very privileged.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to meet him before I think I met him in like Pittsburgh or something. He came to the States for some reason.
That's a
It
fantastic.
was a great photo. And then, you know, there's you get the experiences of the talks. You get the experience of, you know, sometimes it's a very unique opportunity to just hang out and learn and watch and be present in these experiences you can't get anywhere else. Let me see. Anything else you want to mention, Sue? I flipped through these photos on your itinerary list.
Oh, I'm just watching the photos. It's great.
In this picture, Aaron, this was a presentation that was given to us, and it was to the tune of Ring of Fire, as Sue had mentioned, by Johnny Cash, and the music was amazing. It was just
yeah.
so
Great, yeah.
glamorous.
Yeah.
Feline is some
Showman.
interesting person, I tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, he is great. That's something you'd write back. And nowadays with our cell phone, you can record the thing while you're there and play it back anytime you want.
Exactly.
You know what's also very interesting about these trips? We go to these legendary artists, and that's in itself very, very exciting. But we're also on the lookout for new artists. And sometimes, I mean, it can be the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we try to pre-jury it, so it's mostly the good. And there's some wonderful discoveries that we've made along the way, because sometimes an artist won't speak English or can't speak English, and they have not had much exposure in the United States. And so we have, through these trips, really helped them get exposure and develop their reputations.
Yeah, I'm also excited about that relationship you're talking about of these newer artists that I recommended, especially when you visit galleries or when artists get together and set up a little show or a show for the people to come see. There's people in there we've never heard of, and then boom, something goes off in our heads and be like, we got to start showing this person. And this has happened many times, and you're there to get that first exposure and be part of that explosion of interest. And people like Peter, who's incredible. Many of you know Peter Bremers, and you have a chance to visit him and see him in person and visit his studio and see his work sometimes. And, you know, he's the best, simply the best. And he makes some beautiful things, and we're looking forward. He's participating in the upcoming Glass Coast weekend with some new work, Glass Art Fair with some new work. So keep an eye out for that. And the Borowskis over there, I believe in Germany. Incredible talent. I love the way this thing has like dragon monsters behind it. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think it's quite cool.
Well, yeah, speaking of the Borowskis, another thing that we do is collaborate with other galleries. We have wonderful relationships, thankfully, with galleries all over the world. And so consequently, we would collaborate with them to put on exhibitions.
Very true. And you have a chance to experience that, and they're great people as well. I just saw that the Duncan McKellen Gallery was reinstalling their show after the hurricane. Wished them the best because everything's fine down there. Everybody was safe. So it's all in good spirit. Here is a picture of my mother taking a picture, which is a very important part of the trip. Make sure you clean. Make sure you
I did.
make sure you clear your phone off before you go on these trips. You're gonna need lots of room, that's for sure. And you have a chance to see and look at this. This is great. Well, I recognize there's Milt hanging right there, hanging out. Hey, Milt, good to see you too.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, good to see you both. Looks like you just were there holding those glasses. Feels like a minute ago, doesn't it? Yeah, and primarily on these trips, everybody is pretty fluent in English you talk to. Is that what usually happens on these trips?
Yeah, and we also have a step-on guide usually, just in case there's a problem.
Okay, good to know. I thought you were fluent in every single language, Sue. So I'm glad that.
No.
That's so fun. Yeah, everybody exploring. And you're in galleries, you're outside, you're in studios,
We've seen beautiful gardens too of these artist studios. These artists are not only so creative in their work in the glass, but their gardens are just fabulous.
That's good. There's Barbara and the Rubles hanging out. Good to see you both in person and virtually, enjoying a wonderful meal somewhere in the world.
That was in Prague.
Too fun. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, that the right amount of people, you get to the right amount of places.
Yeah, that's
So-
our room. Everybody in that room is ours.
It's great. Everybody's enjoying themselves, having a great time and loving it. And I'm sure everybody got the same thing and enjoyed it, which is great. As the paintings, brother. Good to see you guys. David and Diane hanging out, eating a sandwich. It's good, just good times.
That's in Prague by the water also.
It's
Mhm.
fun. And then we go back to the studios. I'm getting kind of crazy here with the photos, but why not? I've got everybody's attention. We have some great shots of these different trips and archives. This is just like a small little taste of what I could find this week for photos to give people, a gist of what these trips incorporated. And having this much experience doing them, you really are going to enjoy yourself. Obviously, we're early in planning, but we want to get the content out there so people can sign up, because I know Al mentioned earlier that there is a timeline for RSVPing. So we have to kind of mention that, if you don't mind, guys.
No, not at all. It's because of the ship we have an allotment on the ship, and we have our cabins and a nice variety of types of staterooms. But the ship is filling up pretty fast, and we need to get some deposits in to hold the space, which is a fully refundable deposit of $500 per person for the ship to hold that. That way you have it until we get everything gelled together and we know we've got the cabins. The rest of it is my problem. I have to work that out. But we also, as I mentioned, we can help with any of the other travel situations and travel insurance that would come. I do want to make sure that everyone has our contacts. We put it on the website, on the Habatat website, on the notice, but just in case anybody really needs to know right this minute, we have the email would be Allan, ALLANWEINER.travel@gmail.com. And that's allanweiner.travel@gmail.com. Or you can phone 623-521-5700. Again, that's 623-521-5700. Or we have another line if that one's busy, 623-376-6557.
So on the website, there's a big red button on top there. It says Glass Tour. You click that. It takes you to a page with the details that Sue just mentioned, the itinerary that's planned so far, some of the artists you'll see. I mean, it's too much to mention. So make sure you put your eyeballs on it, and their contact information is on the bottom, the number she's mentioned, and contact via email. So definitely go to the website for your refresher. We can also email you a copy of this PDF too, so you have it handy. And then when the time gets closer, we'll have a full-blown little packet of what goes on for the weekend. And beyond that, then we're gonna get together and we can stop sharing my screen and be able to express like what the details are. And Sue and Al are great about providing all that content, so there's no questions and you just know what's going on.
Yeah, I have talked to via email, of course, through all the artists that are listed here. They're all excited that they want to participate. They can't wait, and we're happy. I've got no negatives. This is wonderful.
Yeah, they're making it happen this early on. They're setting the time aside to make sure they're ready for our group when we come next year. And it's great because sometimes people are busy. And right now they're saying, we know how important this is, and we'll make the time to do it so you guys can come enjoy yourselves and experience us and our artwork. There'll be more details as we get closer to the actual date of logistics. And like, let's say you go on the trip and you buy something, how it's shipped and all that kind of details. So you'll know before you go. And then I guess that's basically it. Anything else you want to add, Ferd or Kath or Sue or Al, or anybody who wants to make a comment? This is open.
The space is limited, so we do need to get this out to people who will be interested, and we're hoping that people will want to go next summer. It should be a great time.
Someone asked if Corey and I are going. I'm trying to get on the trip, depending on how many people go. So the more you sign up, the more likely I'll be there. Y'all love me. Hey, I even found this. Look at this. I found the hat, so I could even
All
the
right.
whole time in Europe just for you guys. I promise it'll be a blast. I think this is going to be incredibly exciting, and it's going to be kind of like a coming home once again to see all these people live and in person. So thank you all today for joining us. If you have any questions about the trip, contact me. I'm not the most useful person, but you can contact Sue and Al or Ferd and Kathy for the answers. They both have their expertise. It does sound amazing. I agree. Someone commented this trip, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to possibly going on it. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. So thank you again for joining me today for this Zoom. We're going to be doing back-to-back NGG next 2 weeks of Krista Israel and Joe Ivacek, because they both didn't finish their presentations, but it's the virtual world, so we can move them without a problem. So long story short, I hope you join me again next week. It was an honor to have you all. And if you have any questions, like I said, Sue and Al are right there anytime. And we're eager to see you all soon. Hope to see you when John Moran's here, but all well, have a great weekend.
All right, thanks.
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Nice seeing everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye, Sue. No, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye, Sharon and Fred. Bye, David. Bye, Diane. Those guys. Bye, Milt.